You needed silence. You needed time. You needed the light to become my name. But I spoke, so you changed the frame. First came the whisper, then came the room, then came the looks, a joke with a hook. You studied the wound, you knew where to press. Called it feedback, called it a test. One drop, two drops, water drop torture. Then you looked shocked when I felt the rain. Victimizers and victimized. You built the bait, then blame the backlash. You skipped the notice and blamed the facts. If you didn't bait, there'd be no backlash. If you didn't stay, there'd be no act. The real victim stands where you bury the facts. And every mask you wore. Work, home, gym, market, street. No fight to start, no war to meet. I kept my peace, I kept my lane. You came looking for a scene to frame. I was living, you were staging. I was quiet, you were baiting. That is the tale to victimizers. Wear the masks. I gave details, gave the time, sent the notice, you skipped the info, came unprepared, then blame fall out on how I cared. I called from care, you called it control. I asked for facts, you called it blame. Kept the record so truth came back. Victimizers rewrite the frame. You needed the dust, you needed the file, needed reaction to travel a mile. Facts were missing, truth was gone, you wrote me wrong. If I let you write the record, I lose my name. If I fight the right and you cue the spin frame to escalate the blame. You cut my support to keep your lie. I showed you mercy and grace. You used it for cover, then stabbed my back when the moment was over. If you didn't bait, there'd be no backlash. You didn't press, you didn't stay. You didn't probe, you no pattern. If you didn't stay, there'd be no act. If you didn't sabotage, there'd be no confusion. If you didn't seed it, there'd be no illusion. If I was a storm, why build the weather? If I was a threat, why need the crowd? If I was a fire, why bring the matches? If I was a noise, why make it loud? Not secret, not genius, easy to spot the frame. Old propaganda, regurgitated it. You learned the alphabet, called it brand new code. ABC, same frames, parrots and spy games. Same old methods, not one crew. Same old patterns, making old look new. Not one hand, old frames, old tactics with different names. One hand carries risk, so you spread the crowd. Deniability didn't hit in the loud. Small room or proxy group, same ABC. Probate, instigate, then where the victim has. Holy words, borrowed claims, special interest playing dirty games. Victimizers wearing righteous names, different faces move, same old methods, same little frames, same old tactics, spinning bullshit into truths. Victimizers and victimized. You made the conflict, try to bury the facts. That was not proof, that was not truth, that was repetition, 1,000 repetition, trying to induce a wound. Same cue, same frame, same lizard, little vision, same aim. Tactics, spinning bullshit, hinting the truth. Victimizers and victimized. You made the conflict, tried to bury the facts. That was not proof, that was not truth, that was repetition, 1,000 repetition, trying to induce a wound. Same cue, same frame, same pressure, same game. Again and again and again is a liar, try to steal my name. That was a tale, not on the victim, on the ones making distortion work. Home gym, walking alone. Minding my life, keeping my lane while they kept repeating the same old game. Pose, press, watch, lie and cry. Bait, frame, twist, repeat. Water drop, torture, same place, same beat. Victimizers, victimizers and victimized. Victimizer, victimizers, victimize. Victimizers, victimize and victimize. Victimizers and victimizers and victimize. Victimizers and victimize. You built the bait and blame the backlash. You skipped the notice and blame the facts. If you didn't date, there'd be no backlash. If you didn't stay, there'd be no act. The real victim stands where you bury the facts. And every mask you wore, when I named the flame, you called it proof. You wore the wound to bury the truth. Made my defense look like abuse. You needed a witness, you need a reaction to validate change. Victimizers and victimized. They planted concern, they built the stage. They dropped the water, they wrote the page. When silence failed, they called me difficult when I failed. They needed a victim. That was a tale, I gave you care. You called it control, I gave you facts. You called it cold, I gave you mercy and grace. You used it for cover, I solved the problem. You sold another, that was never misunderstanding. That was sabotage, wearing a victim mask. False concern, stage room, 1,000 drops, manufactured wound. If you didn't pay, there'd be no backlash. You didn't stay, there'd be no act. If I was a storm, why build the weather? If I was the threat, why need the crowd? Skip notice, blame facts, made the problem, launch the attack. Care inverted, procedure frame, mercy distorted, truth rename. Clip reaction, edited frame, the real victim wearing their blame. That is the tell, that is the track, force, false consensus, force reaction game. Victimizers and victimized. The group bullying tactics expose the frame. Victimizers and victim brain.